Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. Before me is two tents. It's quite intense. We've got two tents, we've got another two tents over there. These are the two Quechuas. Now, the reason for all this is the fact that I asked on the community tab which tent that I should use this weekend. So before I find out what you have chosen for me, I am going to have a little bit of a look at each tent. So the first one here is the Quechua 3XL tent. This is from Decathlon, sadly now discontinued. I got this for my birthday a couple of years ago, and it's quite a big, bulky tent. And what's more, you also need to inflate it with a pump as well. So there's quite a lot of bulk there. But it is quite a spacious tent. It is very, very easy to set up. And it's also got the unique feature of the white exterior to reflect the heat of the day. It's got the cooling of the vents either side. It is a fantastic tent, but as I say, it is quite bulky and now sadly discontinued. Next up, we have the Quechua 2 seconds easy, which by the name of it means the fact that it goes up incredibly quickly, although not 2 seconds. It's a bit like saying the fact you're going to go to the pub for 5 minutes and end up spending a couple of hours down there. Wonder who that could be. Anyway, yeah, the Quechua 2 seconds easy. Again, not the smallest of pack sizes, quite heavy. Again, I'll put all the details on screen of all this, the weight and the size. But a good advantage of this is the fact that it sets up really easy. A disadvantage of this tent is that as the framework is built into the fly sheet, into the tent itself, when that tent gets wet, it's incredibly difficult to try and get that dry. You can't separate the framework from the fly. So that means drying it is quite tricky. But as I say, it does go up incredibly quickly. Not 2 seconds, more like 2 minutes. So it could be the Quechua 2 minutes easy. But there we go, that's the two Quechuas. Next, we're gonna move on to the nature hikes. Next, we have the two nature hikes. Now, this one in my left hand, or on your right side, is the Naturehike Cloud Peak 2. And the one on my right is the Naturehike Opalus 3. And there is a small, slight size difference. In the 3-person is a fraction bit bigger, a fraction bit heavier, but not really that notable if I'm honest. Both come with a footprint included, which again I think is a fantastic idea. Most tents should come with that feature. The 2-person nature hike has 2 doors. It has like a little cap that goes over the top, which I'm not that keen on. It has 3 poles, 3 Yizi poles, which make it super strong in the wind. That's its real good strong point. And you're going to get 2 people in there perfectly fine. It's a great tent, very popular on here on YouTube. And yeah, I like this tent a lot. I like all of them, but for different reasons. The Naturehike Opalus 3 is my newest tent, and this is probably my new favorite tent. And it's because it's got enough room for 3 people in there at a squeeze. It's like a palace for 1 person. And you've got a huge vestibule or porch area at the very front. And the disadvantage is with this is if you get a side wind, because this is a tunnel tent, a long tunnel tent, it's 14 foot long, then you get a side wind, then you're going to know about it. I don't think the vents are big enough. I think you do get a little bit more condensation than what you're normally accustomed to with this tent. But I like it. I think it's got a lot of the features and benefits that suit me. It's suitable for both of these tents. Both of these tents are perfectly suitable for going campsite camping. They wouldn't look out of place at a campsite, and they certainly wouldn't look out of place going wild camping either. Obviously, there is a little bit more weight with the Opalus 3, but you do get the extra room. And if you're going to be going with somebody else and then maybe you're sleeping together in that same tent, then you can split the pack size down so somebody can have the poles and the pegs whilst the other one takes the fly sheet. So there we go. There's my 4 tents. Now, I'm going to put them all together and I'm going to see what you have chosen for me. I've seen all these tents here, it's kind of like, I can just see all the adventures that I've had with them and the places I've been to. And yeah, they've all got very good, significant memories for me. So right, it is 6 minutes past 10. And I'm going to take a screenshot of that so you see there's no cheating. And the Quechua 3XL comes out at 26%. The Cloud Peak 2 comes out at 32%. The Quechua 2 seconds easy comes out at 26%. And the Opalus 3 comes out at 16%. Therefore, I named the Cloud Peak 2, which is this one here, the winner. So this is the tent that I'll be using tonight. Now, in all fairness, I'm not going to be setting this up right now. I've got to go to a dog's kennel to have a look at some doggies. And also as well, yesterday we had a lot of rain, and I mean, it was like a ocean was falling from the sky. So I need to let this ground dry for a little bit before I even think about putting the Naturehike Cloud Peak 2 up and setting that up for camp. So this will be going up later, but as I say, I just want that lawn to dry a little bit first. A little bit boggy, which is why I'm over in this corner of the garden on the hard concrete. So catch me a little bit later when I set this up and then sleep out for the night. Well, the sun has certainly come out. I've just come back from one of the dog kennels close to where I live, and sadly there was nothing there today. But yeah, in my hands here I've got the Naturehike Cloud Peak 2, which is a tent which you picked out for me out of a possibility of 4 tents available. You chose this one here, and it's a great tent. I've had it for 18 months. It stood up some really strong winds when I went to a campsite not far from here, and I've also took it while camping as well when I went out on a kayak out to St. Herbert's Island in Derwentwater and did my first ever wild camp with it. So this tent has got a lot of good, happy memories. Very strong, stands up to some really, really gusty winds. Obviously, that's partly down to the 3-pole design. And the one thing I don't like about it is the little cap that goes on top, which is like a rain cover for the ventilation. Other than that, I think it's a great tent. The 2 vestibules are awesome, and you can generally get 2 people in there. Some people think it's a bit of a rip-off of other more expensive tents, but personally, if it does the job, I'm not too bothered, and it's a reasonable price as well. I'll put the details of the weight and the sizes on screen now for you. Yeah, I've used it a number of times, and I say it hasn't let me down once, and it's a good all-rounder. Certainly a good all-rounder. Anyway, I'm going to set this tent up now, so let's get to it. Now, with a lot of the Naturehike tents, at least the ones I've come encounter with, the Opalus and this one, they do come with an included footprint. I talked about this a lot in the last video. I think these are a great addition. They protect the base of your tent. Granted, they're not bulletproof, bomb-proof, or anything like that, but some protection is better than no protection. I did talk about this extensively on the last one. And also as well, a lot of the moisture is going to be in the ground. It rained heavily yesterday. A lot of that moisture is going to be in the ground. It's going to accumulate on the base of your tent. Now, if that moisture accumulates on this, first, the footprint, then that's far easier to hang out to dry than the whole tent. So yeah, that's 2 reasons why I like these. As I say, granted, they are not going to stop a sharp object from entering your tent, but you never know. There might be where you've not checked thoroughly your ground area that you're going to place your tent and pitch on. Maybe there's a peg on there. Maybe that peg may penetrate this, but not necessarily your tent. And I'd rather get this damage than I would the tent. Right, there we go. Right, because the ground is wet, I'm actually going to attach the footprint to the tent over on the concrete. So once I've done that, I'll get back to you. Okay, that's the footprint on, all good. Make sure bottom side down, always a good idea. And I think this is where I would like the tent. I think so. But the one great thing about this, as long as I don't peg it down, put the poles in and erect it in that way, but no pegs in the ground. If I don't like the orientation of it, I can literally pick it up and turn it around again. Brilliant. Oh yeah, I forget, there's no sleeves. There's no sleeves on this. It is where at the end you've got a little metal eyelet. Stick that in there. Go to the opposing end. Wow, that grass, it really is wet. So what I tend to do is put the poles in the eyelets first. Two done. I do tend to find though that if you haven't put up a certain tent for a while, you can get a little bit out of practice. There's certainly a knack to it. Right, so that's 3 poles all in at the corners, and it's just a case of bringing them all up. Then you just work your way around. Again, just working our way around up to the top. Almost there. You tend to find the last three, they're the most difficult. There's a lot of strain on there now. And then the middle ones, these ones you put on the highest. It feels like it's gonna break. There we go, that's that done. Right, now that's done, we can put this part on the tent, which is the cap. The rainproof cap to protect that ventilation at the top. This is my least favourite aspect of this entire tent, to the point where I'm seriously considering at some point in the future looking at the Naturehike Star River tent. Now, if you have that tent, if you have any opinions of that tent, please let me know in the comments below and I'll have a look. And the reason why is because a lot of what is great about this tent is the interior. The sizes are great, the two vestibules, the two doors are great. This thing though is a faff. And the reason for that is you can get to a campsite or you can go wild camping and you've set all this up and maybe you've forgotten to tie this down. Now, if there's a wind, whew, then all of a sudden you don't have a waterproof tent anymore because that is just mesh. So you need this. Another part about it is the fact it's a little bit of a faff because you've got all these little hooks and then you've got eyelets on the tent and it's going, which one is the right one to go where? Now, what I've done with a little bit of experience and a little bit of YouTube is hooked on or tied on a little piece of string onto one of the hooks, which you can just see there. Yeah. And what I've done is on one of the eyelets on the tent, that's this one here, there is an identical piece of string which is tied on. So I know that this hook matches onto this eyelet. Bit of a faff. Not really a fan of it. I love the tent, but this, not the greatest of inventions, have to admit. So yeah, there we go. Anyway, I'm gonna attach this now. Okay, the tent is effectively up, but there's no pegs. So if a big gust of wind came along now, this would be flying. This would be doing a Mary Poppins into next door neighbour's garden. However, I'm not really keen on the orientation of this tent. So as this is a freestanding tent, that means the fact I can literally pick it up and I can put it over here. And then I can go, nah, don't like it over there. So I can pick it up and I can move it over here. Then I can go, nah, don't like it there either. So then I can actually turn it around to the way that I want it to go, which in this instance is, I think where the doors are. Where are the doors? The doors are there. So I want it to be there so that I can, or do I? Where are the doors? Doors are there. Actually, I want it like that. Yeah, that to me is just exactly where I want it. So now I'm gonna go get my pegs, which because we've had a lot of rain and the grass is absolutely soaking. Now this tent does actually come with its own pegs, which is great, but they're not really long enough. So I've got these beast stakes, which I believe are 9 inches. They could be 12, but I'm not really sure on size. But there we go. Yeah, I'm gonna use these instead, and I'm gonna anchor this tent down in case we do get a big gust of wind that comes in and blows it into next door neighbour's garden. I don't want that, and he doesn't want that either. So I'm gonna stake this out now. Oh, yeah. I got this tent nice and tight, like a tiger. Yeah, I pitched it really well. Now, this tent is the one with a T-shaped door, which I really like. They have since updated it to one with like a dome-shaped door. Not so keen on that one. Glad I got this one. Means you've got all this open. Whereas the other one kind of opens out onto the floor. Not great. Oh, I can smell the oakiness. First time I went camping, wild camping with this tent, was on an island and there was lots of trees around, and oh, you can smell the oakiness. There's even still some remains of it in here. But wow. Yeah, really. Good times. My birthday last year. Sadly not doing wild camping this year for my birthday, having a much quieter affair this year. Right, because I'm not using one of those extremely expensive thermo, whatever you want to call it, pads. You know the names, I know the names. I'm going to be using my cheap foil mat to go down first. And that should reflect some of the heat back up rather than losing it all into the ground. Now tonight's going to be quite chilly. It's going to be around about 4 degrees centigrade. So they say, yeah. I'm actually wondering if I'm doing it the right way. No, I'm going to sleep this side. I'm going to sleep this side so that I can cook on that side. I'm doing a live feed at 6 o'clock tonight, so I want to do it from that angle. So the bed will be here, my head will be here. I've got to think of which way the sleeping bag opens, which is from on my left side. So yes, I'll do it so the bed's this side. The bed that I'm using is not a thermo resty thingy, whatever you want to call them. There's plenty of them out there on the market. There's no thermal insulation properties with this pad. It is sadly discontinued. It's called an Ouspt Bed. That is the make. I don't actually know the model of it, but it's been really good. I've got 2 of these and they haven't let me down. Not that I can remember anyway. I think maybe once, but it was only because I didn't put the cap on properly. And to inflate this, I'm not going to use one of those air sac things. I'm going to use a Flextailgear Max 2020 pump. Makes a bit of sound, but you know what? Doesn't really matter. If I was going wild camping, I'd probably prefer the other method. Trying to keep discreet as possible. Not much point having a green tent trying to be discreet when you make a sound like. Kind of gives the game away. So, let that go on there. And let that do the thing. Rise, rise, rise. You can tell I've done that before. Rise, bed, bed, rise. Now, why am I not blowing into this with my mouth? Well, it's because there's certain microbes in my lungs and my breath. And the last thing that we want is for mold to be growing inside here. So we use something like one of these Flextailgear pumps, or you could use a little sack that fits on to the nozzle and then squeeze all that air in. But the last thing you want to be doing is blowing air in, all those microbes and nasties and little buggy things inside your lungs and your breath, and then making mold, and it starts to smell, and you go, what's that smell? Oh, it's the bed that I'm on. We'd rather use one of these pumps instead. Even if they do make a bit of sound. Rise, 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 rise. It's good. I'm looking forward to sleeping out here tonight. Then I'm going to put this in the pocket above. Because once that temperature starts to drop, that air will condense. Hot air expands, cool air will condense. So as that's now sort of like, I don't know, 10 degrees out here, I'm wearing a t-shirt, it's not too hot, too cold, but obviously that temperature will drop, and as too will the temperature of the air which I've just placed into here, and that will then condense. So obviously later on when I come out here, when it's all dark and kind of, well, it's not Halloween yet, but you know what I mean, then I'm obviously going to want to put a little bit more air into the pad to inflate it up to the correct pressure for me. But I don't want to make it too hard, because when I was out here the other week with the Opalus last week, Easter weekend, I put too much air in and it was hard, and I might as well have been laying on the floor for all intents and purposes. So yes, just make sure that the valve is completely shut, and because the valve is there, I'm going to flip it over. Nice big logo there. And then that way, I'm going to enter through that door that you're looking through. And I can cook and can talk to you lovely people on live later tonight. All I've got to do now is get the bedding in. So, for those of you who are regular to the channel, you'll probably no surprise the fact that my sleeping bag of choice, and it's going to be one of few because it's going to be cold, is the Vango Nitestar 375 Alpha. And I like this one because it's a little bit wide, like me, and I don't want to feel like I'm trapped inside a second skin. So that's the Vango Nitestar 375 Alpha. And then I'm going to throw a Coleman Festival Blackout one over the top because it's going to be chilly. I mean, really quite chilly tonight. Sorry about the light, by the way. The sun's actually over there. That's west. It's now 4:52 p.m. So an hour and 7 minutes almost until I do my live feed. I'm rushing. Coleman Festival Blackout, which is quite a big, chunky sleeping bag in itself. And I'm going to throw that over the top because layers are important. And the Nitestar 375 Alpha, I was hoping was going to be the answer to all my problems, the fact that I was going to be sleeping out in all sorts of temperatures and whatnot. And guess what? No, sadly not. I might add another sleeping bag to this. As I say, I do get cold. I don't particularly like the cold very much. But I am actually on the lookout for another sleeping bag, possibly a Naturehike, one with all down feathers in. And he said fur. So yeah, I'm actually on the lookout for one of those. But at the moment, as I say, money is tight. I need to be careful with my pennies at the moment. But eventually, as long as I keep saving, that situation will improve, and then I can afford things like that again. But at the moment, no. Such is life. We have a cost of living crisis, and I need a doggy. Yeah. Now, obviously, I need pillows. And here we are, pillows. I don't know if this will actually fit. I've never actually tried it. Yeah, might do. So, I like a lot of pillows. I'm quite broad-shouldered, and I like to sleep on my side, preferably my left side. Probably too much information, but there you go. Take it or leave it. It is what it is. Yeah, I like to sleep preferably on my left side. I don't really roll around too much. And yeah, so I like 2, sometimes 3 pillows. And there we go. So I've got 3 here, and they are, I can never remember the name, Trekology Aluft 2.0. And I've got 3 of them. Why? Because I like pillows. And whilst it's sunny and it's lovely out here, it really is, to finish off the piece, the puzzle, the kit, whatever you want to call it, I've got my Trekology Yizi Go folding camping chair, which I absolutely adore. Now, primarily, I'm only going to be using this for the live feed at 6 o'clock tonight. It is now 5:03. Time is a ticking, folks. And yeah, I took this to work the other day just to show them. Because look, it's like a loaf of bread. It's tiny. It weighs practically nothing. Put the weight here for you. And yeah, I love it. I mean, I could go on for a long walk, and if I wanted to, I could take this with me, and it wouldn't really bear me down with its weight at all. You've seen this on the channel plenty of times before, no doubt, but if you're new here, this is awesome. And whilst I try not to get blinded by the sunlight for middle of April, which is rather surprising, if you're in the UK, you'll know that. And awesome bit of kit. And I weigh around about 106, 107 kilos, and I've actually had it where Buster and I were sat on this together. He was sat on my lap. There's me weighing 107 kilos. He weighed about 14, 15 kilos. So, yeah. 120 kilos. Just trying to work out which way to put this on. Quite easy. And because the ground is saturated from yesterday's monsoon of a rainfall, I think that dog's telling me I've done it wrong. There we go. That's the main part of the chair. Again, literally weighs nothing, but as an optional extra, I went for the sand cover, which in my case is usually mud cover because I don't live anywhere near a beach. So this is an optional extra and just clips over the feet like that. And then it prevents your feet from sinking into the wet soil below, which in my case is, believe you me, wet. Put that over. Job done. Put that on the floor. Ready for the live feed. So I'm going to get prepared for that, and then I shall see you once that's done. Or maybe during. I haven't decided yet. This is all done on the hoof. As you can probably tell, there's no script, is there? Right, now we cut to a commercial break. I'm joking. Well, good evening, folks. It is 9:52 at night. It's been a long day for me, but also a very good day. I've had a good day. I just want to say to everybody earlier at 6 p.m. tonight who joined in on the live feed, thank you, each and every one of you. It was awesome. I really enjoyed that, and I'll probably try and make that a regular feature if I can. I'll see what I can do, but I'll try and do it for every Saturday at 6 p.m. And maybe it'll be in the tent, maybe it'll be in the house. It depends on the weather, but yeah, we shall see on that one. So a little bit about this channel is the fact that it may just be me waffling on for ages, but I like to think of this channel as a community, and talking to you lovely people like I did earlier on the live feed, I learn things as well. I don't profess to know everything. I never have, and I never will. I'm learning just as much as everybody else. We all got something in common, and that we love camping, or at least have an interest in it. And it's great to get your opinions and maybe ideas on gear, tents, sleeping bags, pillows, you name it, that you're interested in and that maybe I haven't even thought of. So that's where this channel comes in handy, where we can discuss ideas and maybe places to visit and gear to buy. So there we go. My voice is starting to go a little bit crackly. That means I'm getting tired and I need to get some sleep. I think I was sort of half awake from 1:30 this morning. It's now 5 to 10. So I am going to say goodnight. And again, I just want to reiterate and say thank you to everyone who joined the live feed again tonight. So, right, I'm going to get some sleep. I shall see you in the morning. Night. Good morning, everybody. Just kind of decided to get up. It's just gone 6:15 in the morning, and I've been up for a little while now. I needed a bit of time to kind of adjust from having a good night's sleep to being fully awake. But I did have a really good night's sleep. I only seem to sleep really well in tents just lately. Maybe I need to set a tent up in my bedroom. It would appear so, but I think it's the fresh air and waking up to bird song and just feeling alive, you know. As I say, the doors are shut. I could be pretty much anywhere, really, apart from the sound for the odd bit of traffic. You wouldn't know that I was anywhere different. Well, yeah, really good night. I noticed a little bit of condensation on the inside of the tent. I got out a little while ago for a wee, and yeah, there's a little bit of condensation on the inside. But as I say, it was quite a cool night, and there's certainly been no air. The guide ropes did not need to be used, that's for sure. So, yeah, it's to be expected. But as I say, I had a good night's sleep, and that's the main thing. Last thing I want is a tent where I feel uncomfortable in or restricted in, and then it affects my sleep, which then consequently affects the next day. If camping isn't going to be fun or comfortable, then what's the point? And yes, I know there's a degree of roughing it, but it's finding your level of what you feel comfortable in, and it's different for everybody. But this tent for me is pretty much, it's very, very good. Very good. It could be improved. It could be improved, definitely. The cap thing, for one, for for sure could be improved, but the size, the dimensions in here, the 2 doors, vestibules, awesome. Right, so the plan for now is I'm going to go inside for a little while. I'm not going to have a coffee or anything like that. I'm going to save that till later, and then once it brightens up out here a little bit, I'll probably have a coffee then. But I've got to go inside, feed the fish, and yeah, probably put some jogging bottoms on, I think, because I think the shorts, with the cold weather, it's quite chilly out there. I don't think it's quite suitable, so I didn't bring a change of clothes with me inside. So yeah, I'm going to go in, feed the fish, and then come out here a little while later and have a coffee. So I shall catch you then. Whew. Cloudy, very overcast, and a little bit of condensation on the inside. Put that over like that. Yeah, starts a bit of condensation. Now open the doors for a bit. Let's see how that goes. Oh yeah, good morning everybody. It's a good day. Hello. Time for some water. Well, the cloud's starting to break up a little bit. Quite a peaceful, lovely morning. These are the good times. Not surrounded by music or TVs or just the sound of nature, birds tweeting and my Jetboil Zip bubbling away. Good old coffee bag. Taylor's coffee bags. Awesome invention. For those of you who are nostalgic, and I certainly am, Buster's Boy Camping. There we go. Yeah, that was what the channel used to be called years ago. Want to have a look back at the old videos, please feel free to do so. Yeah. Seems like a long time ago now, that. But, yeah, last night was good. I needed it. I didn't realise I needed it. And just sitting out here right now and listening to that bird song and feeling the air warm ever so slightly as the sun rises. And just peace and quiet, really. Away from TVs, radios, music, people talking, people shouting. To come out here and just have this is just wonderful. And a good coffee as well. Sadly, it's not my ex mug, but I don't know where it is. Living in the moment. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy this cup of coffee and then I'm going to get this tent dismantled. So I just want to say a huge thank you if you've watched this far. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider liking, leaving a comment, subscribing to the channel. It really does help the channel a lot moving forward. I want to thank you very much for your company, both on this video and in the live feed that I did last night. That was really good. Lovely to get to meet people and chat to them. So I hope to be doing that again next Saturday. Or I don't know if I'll have a tent out, it depends on the weather, but I'll do my best. I'll see what I can do. So it'll either should be Saturday. Depends on the weather. If the weather's good on Friday and it's bad on Saturday, I'll probably try and get it up on Friday. But I'll put it on the community tab if that's what you want to get involved in. You want to say hi and we can talk live. And yeah, It's a Camping Thing is a community. It is a channel fundamentally, and I make videos, but it would be nothing without you wonderful, wonderful people out there. I don't always get it right, and I admit that. I put my hand up. I'm just trying my best, and yeah, it's just nice to know there's other people out there that have got a similar love for camping like I have. So I'm going to leave it there, folks. Take care. Have a wonderful day, whatever you're doing today, and during the week, have an absolutely wonderful time. Stay safe, and I hope to see you again soon.